This is AuspiciousAussie and welcome to my Football Manager 2014 free transfer shortlist. As you can see, I'm with Bayern Munich at the moment just because I needed a team that could scout everybody. The shortlist is fairly large, so this is going to be quite a long video. If this video does actually hit 50 likes, I will put a downloaded version of this shortlist up for you to download if it reaches 50 likes, so hit that like button. But I'll get into it straight away. Goalkeepers: Julio Cesar, not the traditional Brazilian you're thinking of, the 30 whatever 30 whatever year old he is. This is a different one. He's 26 years old, probably the best free transfer goalkeeper available on this year's game. Next is Martin Fulop. He's had stints in the Premier League with various teams, and he's still a fairly good goalkeeper at the age of 30 years old. Good one-on-ones and reflexes. Next is Craig Gordon, Scottish international, 40 caps for Scotland. Really lacking in his physicals, but still kind of all there with his technicals and mentals, so he's definitely worth a pickup if you are looking for a backup goalkeeper. Next up is probably one of my favourite goalkeepers that is available as a free transfer, and that's Tim Wiese. As you can see, absolutely immense shot stopping abilities, very high eccentricity, which is pretty much the only bad thing about him, as well as his low composure. He is prone to make a mistake, but I mean, if you look at his stats, he's pretty amazing. Could easily be a first team goalkeeper for, I'd say, upper half Prem teams if you're going to go by that standard. Next up is Kenan Hasidic, fairly decent Bosnian international goalkeeper. Pretty decent, lacking in concentration and physicals, but yeah, all round pretty decent. Next up and finally for goalkeepers is Beaulieu Keita, 22-year-old, very decent for his age, and I would probably recommend you to pick him up if you are looking for a future goalkeeper. Alright, next up we have the central defenders. First up, everybody should know this player, Sotiris Kyrgiakos, played for Liverpool for a few years, very good defender even at 33 years old. Probably not going to be a high line defender, but still, he's going to save you goals, I would say. Similar type of mould to the next player, Jean-Alain Boumsong, very much the same, probably got a little bit more pace than Sotiris, but still, very good defenders, both of them. Next up is Matthias Lequi, Argentine player, great mentals, could be a captain, again lacking in pace, pretty much because of his age, but still good in the air, and yeah, good tackling as well. Mark Howard, an Englishman, I mean he's not absolutely immense, but he could be a backup for lower Prem teams, maybe newly promoted teams as well, if you are choosing to play as them. Next up is Remco Van Der Schaaf. Very good central defender in my opinion. He does have very high aggression, so he'll probably be prone to getting a red card or two during the season. Lacking in pace, but what can you do? He is 34 years old, so he's very experienced. Next we have Juan Manuel Reno, who 23-year-old Argentine defender, somewhat decent physical stats, technicals are there, but he's lacking in the mentals, and at 23 he probably won't develop them as much as you would like. Titus Bramble, most players should know him, played for Sunderland last season. He's still fairly decent, low determination, which is a bit annoying, but great strength, good in the air still. Could easily play in the Premier League in my opinion. Pablo Ibanez up next, 31-year-old. This guy is pretty immense. If he had better acceleration and pace, he could probably be a really good central defender. I mean, his mentals are out of this world for a free player. Obviously, if you're comparing him to other central defenders that are already at teams, yeah, he's not all there. But anyway, that is the central defenders rounded up. Next up, we have left backs. Probably the best player on this entire list is Ivan Obradovich, the Serbian left back. As you can see, I don't understand how this guy does not have a club. In my opinion, he could probably play for teams like Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, probably even Man City. He looks as good as what's the other Serbian left back? Forgotten his name. Kolarov, that's it. So yeah, very good player, probably the best free player available. Next up is on Andreas Ibertsberger. Yeah, Austrian fullback, can play left and right fullback, so he'd probably be worth a punt if you're going to sign him, but he's not very good going forward. Pace isn't outstanding for a fullback, but he is very good defensively, so either footed as well, so he can play on either flank or either fullback position really. Lukas Marique is up next. Very good left back, sorry. Just all-round good left back. Definitely worth signing. Might struggle to get a work permit for him, but he would be worth it. Diogo de Almeida, Brazilian 24-year-old right back, left back, sorry. He's decent, good pace on him, but he's not really there defensively. I wouldn't sign him unless you, fairly low down in divisions. Next player is Domenico Bronzi, another left and right fullback. 19 years old, could grow potentially. I haven't scouted him, so I don't actually know what his future potential is, but if you want a young fullback, maybe as a backup, he could probably be worth a go. He's Italian, so obviously wouldn't need a work permit. Right backs now, we have Sofian Chahed, the Tunisian right back. Very decent, probably the best free right back on the game this season. He is also either footed, so that's playing to his benefit, I guess. Next up is Miguel Portuguese, 33-year-old right back. Again, very good, very decent. Good going forward especially, but he does have the defensive stats to, pull his weight. Maicon Silva, 23-year-old Brazilian right back. Lacking in strength, which is, it's not ideal for a right back, but he does have pretty much every other stat down. Mentals is alright for a 23-year-old as well. If you do sign him, I would probably recommend putting him on individual strength training for at least 6 months. Try and get it at least over 10 would be what you would have to go for. Matthias Rudler, Argentine right back. Decent, but there are better right backs out there. Wouldn't recommend him unless he's probably your only option. And yeah. Manuel Ruz, another right and left fullback. Fairly decent. Spanish, he's worth a signing if you are one of those lower down first division teams. Hamadi Ayari, French right back. Lacking in pace, decent defensively. If you're playing in France, maybe the Ligue 2 or the National Division, then I'd probably give him a sign. Next up we have midfielders. Now there's quite a lot of midfielders. I'm going to try and break them up into sections. Alright, so first up we have the defensive-minded midfielders. We have Mohamedou Diarra. Everybody should know this player. Played in Premier League. I think he played for Madrid as well. Yeah, he did play for Real Madrid. And played for Fulham most recently, of course, but got released. He's absolutely immense. 32, but he doesn't look a day over 27, really. I'm not sure about how his stats decrease. He does have low natural fitness, so I'm not exactly sure, but he can play defensive mid and midfield centre as well. Next up we have Paulo Assunção, 33-year-old Brazilian, very good, lacking a little bit in his physicals, but mentals are down pat, and physicals defensively for a defensive midfielder are pretty much perfect. Zuma is up next, can play left back as well, which is probably one of his best roles, but can play decently in midfield as well, I'd say. He's right-footed, so you might not want to actually put him as left back, but very, very good defensively, and his physicals and mentals pretty much complement each other, and he goes quite nicely. City Keita's up next, a Malian international, and as you can see, he's fairly decent, probably not as good as Diarra, but in a similar mould to him. Romain Pitao is up next, 35-year-old Frenchman, very old, but still very skillful, I'd say. He's more of a deep line playmaker, in my opinion. Very good leadership and teamwork work rate, so it would definitely be a hard worker type of player you want in your team. Dariat Studka is up next, and he's a massive Swiss international, sorry. As you can see, he's fairly even all around. You know, none of his stats really like catch your eye. He is fairly versatile, can play defensive centre as well, which would probably be his best position looking at his stats. Maybe a ball-playing defender would probably help him. He is either-footed, which is pretty good, and he could probably play fullbacks as well, which obviously helps. I would probably sign him if I was looking for a like a really versatile player. Papa Bouba Diop is up next. Fairly decent player, probably a box-to-box midfielder if I had to be honest. Doesn't really have much creativity, but he is quite strong. So yeah, 35 years old. He's also quite tall, so he'd probably be winning you balls very often in the air. He probably would, sorry. Rodney's up next, 28-year-old Brazilian. Not setting the world alight, but he is still fairly decent for a free transfer, I guess. So he makes my list. Alberto, this is going into the more creative players, the midfield centres and attacking midfielders. Alberto Portuguese, very decent for an advanced playmaker, maybe even a deep line playmaker looking at his marking and tackling. Up next is Claudia Muska, 22-year-old, pretty decent as a deep line playmaker, maybe even an advanced playmaker. And at 22, if you can get a work permit for him, he would definitely be one for your team. Fran Yeste up next. Very, very good Spanish player. And yeah, don't really need to talk about him. He has dribbling, the passing technique, and the creativity. And he's left-footed. Can play on the left wing as well, so nice and versatile. Definitely a good squad player. Adil Ramsey can pretty much play everywhere. You know, left wing, left mid, right mid, midfield centre, and attacking midfielder. Very much similar to, I'd say, Yossi Benayoun, who was a free player at the start of the game, but obviously he went to QPR. So he's in that type of mould. Vicente up next, who is a left winger. As you can see, he doesn't have pace, but everything else is pretty much outstanding. He's played for some really good clubs. Played for, well, obviously, I would class Brighton as a very good club, but he did play for Valencia for a number of years, and you know, that was back when Valencia was a really, really good team. Igor Gabalindo, another very good left winger. Probably would sign him for nearly any team I would play at as a backup, if not first team. Diego Gomes, left midfielder, not setting the world alight there, but he could play central midfield quite nicely if needed. He does have good pace as well, so you could probably play out on the left as left mid, maybe as a wide midfielder would probably be his best role. Stefano Ghiberti, another winger, this time a right winger, 28 years old, very good player. Again, I would probably sign him for nearly any team if we were lacking a right winger. Simon Davies, most people would probably know him, did play for Fulham, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Fulham and Tottenham. 33 years old, you know, he's getting on his career, but he's still all there. But I assume his stats would drop quite quickly. Yassine Abdesadki, or Abdesadki, I'd say. Another right winger, pretty decent, you know, not setting the world alight again, but could do a job for most people out in the right wing. David Bentley, former Tottenham player, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, former Tottenham, former Blackburn. Whoops. Decent player, 28 years old, doesn't really have the pace to actually beat players, but definitely has decent mentals and decent technical attributes, so yeah, he'd be quite good. Alright, moving on to the strikers, we've got about 8 to go through. Heidar Helgason, everybody should know Heidar. 35 years old, very good target man, played for a number of teams in England, pretty much spent his whole career in England. Last season was at Cardiff and helped them get promoted, and yeah, not much to say, very good in the air. Likewise, this next player, Stefan Meyerhofer, another extremely good target man. I would probably recommend you to sign him over Heidar Helgason, simply because of his mental attributes. They are out of this world. Same as his jumping and strength, lacking a little bit in the technical attribute area, but I mean his mentals and technicals should pretty much push his technicals over the line. Vincenzo Quinta, the Italian target man. Again, very good in the air. These three players, all fairly old, but will definitely score you goals if you play them right. Ivan Klasnic, another one of those type of players. He's a little bit more clinical though, not exactly the type of player that is getting on the end of crosses. Very good composure, very good finishing and technique. Off the ball is pretty decent, lacking in teamwork and work rate and obviously pace at his age, but still decent player. Could easily come off the bench and score you goals. Karim Faktali, the Dutch player, decent all-round, probably be a decent advanced forward to be honest. Probably could score you a few goals, you know. He would never really be first team for me unless I was a team in the lower down divisions, but a decent player nonetheless on a free transfer. And finally, Gonzalo Ledina, Argentinian striker, extremely good pace and yeah, decent finishing, first touch and composure. So yeah guys, that is it for my shortlist of free transfers. Like I said, if the video gets to 50 likes, I will add a shortlist download in the description. So get liking, and I hope this video has helped you somewhat. And hopefully you'll be able to snap up some bargains. And yeah, good luck guys.